All right, what is up, everybody? Today we are here to talk about why everything must take a backseat to you paying off your debt. Okay, so a lot of people, a lot of you are in a lot of debt. You're probably watching a video like this, trying to figure out how to get out of it. It's a burden every single day. You barely have the motivation. I've been there too. Some of you don't even want to look, okay, at your bill. Any of your bills. It's that time of month and you're like, I don't even want to look at it. So, what we're talking about is why everything must take a back seat to paying off debt. Okay? Because debt is modern day enslavement, right? So, what does that mean? Okay, so let's talk about a couple of things that continue the debt cycle, that put you more in debt, that back up your paying off of the debt several years, okay? So, some of us out there, and I'm as guilty as anybody else, or have been in different parts of my life, go out to eat too much, right? That costs 3 or 4 times as much as it would cost you to get stuff from the store. I mean, I know it's hard, but how bad do you want it, right? So that's one of the things. What I would do is maybe get a job at a restaurant, especially if you're young, okay? Having a job at a restaurant can be very good for your finances. You tackle debt early. That's the biggest key, too, is either not develop it in the first place or tackle it early. And if you can tackle it early and you're a younger person on here, work at a restaurant, man. You can make pretty decent money in most areas waiting tables, okay, off of tips. And even if you don't, the money you save off of working at a restaurant, you get a lot of free food. Okay, restaurants probably don't want to advertise that, but I mean it happens. Dishes come up and they're like, oh, it had something in it that this person didn't order. We can't send it out. We gotta throw it away. They might give it to you. Okay. Some places have employee meals. Some places, this is a double whammy for a lot of you. Some places you can pick up extra shifts. Okay, you can be of service inside of a restaurant or something like that, and they will give you food, right? So you're making more money, okay? You're improving your status, all right? And you're spending less money because you can eat the food there. Now, I know it gets boring, even if you have a large menu, okay? But how bad do you want it? It all comes down to that. Okay, so paying off debt, that's definitely one of the things I would recommend. Another thing would be, when I say everything takes a back seat to it, do you drive a car that is more expensive than it needs to be? Okay, get rid of it. All right, if your car payment, okay, car payments, what's the average car payment now? It's like $500, $600 a month. That is a huge chunk of change that you can be putting towards your credit cards, your student loans, okay, your personal loans, or whatever it is, okay? And the car is a depreciating asset. It is never going to be worth more, okay, than what you paid for it. Maybe in a couple of weird situations, but I wouldn't count on it. Any investor will tell you that, okay? You might, if you can afford, like, the newest Ferrari or something that they only make 10 of, and it will only go up in value. Obviously, this video is not for you're not in debt in the first place, or I suspect you're not. Okay, so unless it's those cases, the value of the vehicle is not going to go up. I mean, you guys probably know this. So get something cheaper. Okay, like drive a 10, 15-year-old car if you need to. Okay, drive a beater. If you can't find one, somebody in your life, somebody, either parents, okay, family members, friends, just associates and colleagues, somebody has an older car and they're ready to upgrade. And here's the deal. You can both benefit from this because you can give them a little bit more than what the trade-in value is worth, okay? But it will be less than you will pay buying it at a dealership or something like that. They have their markups. That's how the business works. They pay a little bit on the receiving end, on the buying end for a trade, right? And they mark it up and somebody else buys it for more. It's a business. This is just the way it works. But if you know that person, they'll be like, hell yeah, I'll sell you my car for $1,000 over trade value, maybe even 500. They might even let you buy it for trade value because they're like, yeah, look, I don't want to talk to these to these people, whoever I'm trying to sell it with. I don't want to list it online or something and have to meet people, all these, and having the phone ring all the time. Ooh, we're interested in your car. Can we set up all of these dates? You know, have you guys ever sold a car or something like that? That happens a lot. I mean, yeah, I'll work a part-time job, right, to get rid of this car for a week, is basically what happens. So do that. Look for somebody out there has something that you can buy, okay? Now, or if you have the ability, go without one for a while. There's been a lot of people, probably even in your life, that have survived on one car for the whole family, or no car for months on end. Nobody's gonna care, okay, what you're driving, or if you've got a scooter, or if you've got nothing at all. If you can get to work and to school or to the grocery store or wherever it is you need to go without one for a while, obviously this doesn't make sense if you absolutely need one in the area that you live, but in that case, drive the beater, man. Like I said, who cares? Everybody's got to drive a crappy car at some point in their life, and in fact, the people who have been there, the people who are successful, who have paid their debt off, okay, who are investors, they'll look at you as like a smart person. They're like, this person is, you know, they're learned about this situation. They're not driving around in their net worth. Okay? They're not stunting. They're not trying to look good for everybody, okay? You want to affect a look, right, of wealth? That's not what you want to do. You don't want to look like you're wealthy. You want to be wealthy. Okay? And it starts with this. Everything takes a back seat to paying off your debt. Okay? Gotta eat cheaper. Gotta drive cheaper. Don't drive as much. Can you survive not taking the tollway if you're in a city or something that has those? All right. Don't buy something like you. I mean, dude, guys, I know it's fun, guys and girls. I know it's fun to have the V8. Okay. I know it's fun to have even a V6 or a big pickup truck or something. But if you can survive on something that's better on gas, I mean, drive the Toyota Prius for a while. Like I said, nobody's gonna care, and the people that do, just always remember too. Okay. Don't ever accept, you know, criticism from somebody that you wouldn't accept advice from. The people criticizing you, would you really accept life advice from them? Financial, relationship, emotional, you know, education, any kind of advice. You see what I mean? If you would not accept that from them, don't accept their criticism. Nobody cares, okay? They're a loser, and you're not going to be, because you'll be out of debt. The people who have never been in debt because mommy and daddy paid for everything, I can show you a situation to where, yeah, some people never go in debt or never go into bad debt. Rather, there's a difference, okay? But for every person that, oh, their mommy and daddy gave it to them who succeeds, there's probably like 10 people who, yeah, mommy and daddy paid for everything, but they didn't learn the life skills, so they lost it all. Some of them multiple times, okay? So, what are we talking about here? Everything takes a back seat to paying off your debt. What else does that mean? What other things are there? Maybe you don't need to buy so many nice clothes. Like, I'm wearing a pretty basic ass t-shirt right here. Alright? And maybe you gotta shop at Walmart or Target or TJ Maxx or something like that for a while. Yeah, better yet, something secondhand. Same thing with your appearance. I mean, you need to look groomed and stuff, but you don't need some cutting edge clothes, the newest drip, or anything like that. It doesn't even take long, guys. Just a few years. Okay? Just a couple years. A couple of years will go by like that. It's literally a blink. Okay? And a lot of people are in a lot of debt. Yes. And a lot of people are in enough debt that it's starting to hurt. Okay? And in a couple of years, you can get it to go away. Maybe you need to pick up a second job. If you work a job that you are unable to pick up more hours, like it's not something that they either allow, or if you did, it wouldn't pay you more. I mean, some people are in those kinds of situations. You might need to get a second one, okay? If you do have a car and the payment isn't screwing your whole life up, okay, then you can Uber. You can do Uber Eats. You can do DoorDash, you can do, what are some of the other ones? Grubhub or what, I mean, you guys know what the things are. You can do those things here and there to supplement your income. And then you know what you do? The thing, you know, one thing people like to do is they like to do an accelerated debt payoff. So if you got a couple of credit cards, a car payment, a student loan, or whatever it is. You find the thing that is cheapest, or rather the thing that you owe the least on, pay that thing off as quick as possible, and then that falls off of your bills. Whatever it was monthly that was costing you, it's gone. Right? So now, whatever you were spending on that, you can move to the next bill, the next most expensive thing, or least expensive thing, then the next, and finally, you'll be left only with the biggest, most expensive thing. Okay? That's an accelerated debt pay down. I forgot what the technical term is. I mean, it might be accelerated debt pay down. So different people, if you read different books or follow different people, podcasts, or even just wealthy individuals will come up with this thing. Like at some point in the things they teach. Okay, you don't necessarily have to do that, but for a lot of people, you get the benefit of that more immediate feedback, right? You're like, hell yeah. So I had 4 debts, okay, and one of them is gone. And your brain likes that. They're like, hey, we're making progress here, right? So, I mean, this is one reason why a lot of people don't stay in the gym. Every New Year's, that's the most expensive time for a gym. Everyone's like, yeah, I'm going to get fit. And then people quit. Sometimes just a couple of weeks in because they don't see the results immediately. But with this thing, if you pay off one cheap debt, okay, you see those results. It builds motivation. It builds your courage too. And you're like, hell yeah, I think I can actually do this. Okay, so that's another thing that I would do. If you can, some of y'all, yeah, I know you're working 40 hours a week. You're going to have to do 45 or 50. Some of y'all 60. Okay? It's something that is possible and that you can do. I've heard it said before, a man or woman or a person can do anything, pretty much anything, as long as it isn't forever. Okay? You're not going to have to necessarily work 60 hours a week forever. Okay, but you're able to do it. Go back 2 or 3 generations in your family. Okay, I guarantee you'll find some people that 60 hours a week was what it was from day one until the day they retired. Okay, we live in a more what would you call it? A more it's a little easier of a world, right? A little bit more generous. Okay, we don't have to put in as much time. Some of you do. Okay, and if that's what you're going from, you got to ramp it up. Okay. Now, I know some of these things are things that you already know, things you've been thinking about, but how bad do you want it? Okay, I can tell you right now, this is what's going to happen. One day, when you pay that debt off, all right, you're going to look back. Some of you will cry tears of joy, but even if you don't, this is true right here. You're going to look back and you're going to breathe a sigh of relief and say, oh my God, it was such a burden, and it's gone. And that will probably be the best feeling you have ever felt in your life. Okay, especially right now if the debt is hanging over you. Okay, so what I would do is continue. You gotta stay on it, like, all the time. Everything takes a back seat to paying off the debt, unless it's an emergency. Obviously, look, if you need to see a doctor or something like that, or somebody needs your help with some emergency, yes, obviously. But everything else, all the gadgets, all the clothes, the cars, the vacations, okay, the food, you have no idea, just with food, especially in this country, okay, which is the United States, if you couldn't tell from my accent. Okay, if I don't have an accent, you probably live here. Okay, but this is what I'm saying, especially in this country, but most developing countries, we got too much food, bro. Look, I've worked in restaurants for a while. They throw away, people throw away sometimes half, sometimes 75% of what they order. Okay, this is how good of access we have to food, and how people, they don't even think about it. It's so, just buy this, and throw half of it away. But food is a thing that people spend way too much money on. Snacks. When I say everything takes a back seat to paying off your debt, when you're at the gas station and you see that bag of chips, you gotta think to yourself, is that going to get me closer to paying the debt off or not? Period. And when the answer is no, it isn't, it needs to take a back seat to paying the debt off, okay? The nice dinners, the lunch. If you can pack your own lunch, do it. If you can eat at work like I said, if you work at a restaurant, I'm just saying, because food is an easy thing to remove as a cost, or really like blunt the damage it's doing to your debt if you can. Okay. If you are unable to work at a restaurant, that's fine. There's other ways. There's other places you can work. Utilize the perks that you have. I'm just saying that one because food is one thing that every single human being needs, and for most people, especially who are in debt, cutting down on eating out in places, okay, and buying like even the little knickknacks, guys. Even just the candy bar. Candy bars are damn near $2 now. There might be more wherever you are. Okay, I mean, that's, you gotta think about it. You're like, okay, so if I made, $100 today. Let's say I went to work and I tallied it up, made $100 today. You gonna buy that $2 candy bar? That's 2% of the deal immediately. It's gone. It's just a candy bar. You will not even be happy 3 minutes after you finish it. You won't care. 500 calories later, and 3 minutes after you finish it, and $2 later, right? You won't care. So think about that. Think about the $20 that you might spend going to eat somewhere. Even these places like McDonald's and stuff, it doesn't take long. A regular combo there costs about $10. You throw in a milkshake with that, or a McFlurry, or something like that, it gets to 20 quickly. And now, what is that? From that $100, that is 20% of the deal just disappeared. Okay? These are things that we got to think about when we're talking about everything takes a back seat to paying the debt off. If that's what you want, okay? And I know that you do. You had no idea. It's the best feeling in the world that once you finally get rid of it, okay? And then hopefully now you're inoculated, right? You're like, no, we're not going to go into bad debt anymore. We're not going to get into that. We're not going to buy too expensive of a car. And then that is when the money you were spending on those things you can put into investments. Put it in an index fund, okay? Some of y'all are interested in Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies and things like that. If you study up on it and you understand it, now you have the money to really, really try some stuff. One of the worst things that can happen is you run out of things that you can try, and that leads to depression because you feel like there's nothing. Depression, a lot of the times for people, it comes from this. It comes from feeling like there's nothing else that I can do. There's no more opportunity. Life is basically over. I plateaued. This is it. This job that I hate, this is it. Then nothing's going to ever get better. I'm never going to get married. I'm never going to do this. And if I am married, or we're never going to have that nice vacation. Or you guys know what I'm talking about. The thoughts begin to spiral. That stuff goes away when you have opportunity. Then you have that optimism, okay? So, remember, what did we talk about today? Clothes, okay? We talked about some of y'all need to get some roommates. That's another one, okay? Do it for a couple of years. Isn't it worth it to become a person who's financially free? To become a person who could buy a $100,000 car and not really even have a loan? If you have a loan on it, it'd probably just be to build your credit. You could pay cash, or your assets are cash flowing well enough that they could pay for it. It could be a business car or something. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't take that long. And for a lot of people, they never get there. Why? Because they burn out. Just like those people on New Year's, man, going to the gym. They burn out because they're eating that elephant all at once. You eat an elephant one bite at a time. Taking care of your debt will be the biggest, most important bite. Okay? So, this is what I have for y'all. Remember, everything takes a backseat to paying off your debt. And then once it's done, man, you got that money to put into something amazing. All right, so leave a comment below with your situation or whatever's going on. Give this video a like. Okay, subscribe if you haven't done that already. And we will see y'all in the next one.